we're still talking daily money. We'll talk money, money management, money issues, money problems, money growth. We're going to keep talking that for a while because it's one of the biggest questions and one of the biggest obstacles that people face is how they all, it's always this aspiration of having more money, desiring more money. We all desire. I think we all could use, no matter how much money, everybody feel like, well, I could use an extra, little extra. So giving practical tips and not so practical tips on how to accomplish that. So something, I was driving home from the pool today and I was listening to one of my new favorite teachers. I'll call them philosopher, teacher, goal setters, to listen to is William Murphy. Up until maybe in the last couple of years, I had never heard of him. But then I picked up a book by him. I have to get that name of that next time. And realized it was some really wild yet very simple tools and tips in the book that changed my thinking, my life about money. And so one of the things that he discussed on the disc that I was listening to today was, I'm just making sure I'm not confusing people. He was actually, William Murphy is who I was listening to in the locker room at the pool. Who I was listening to in the car, you could tell I just listened to this stuff all day, was Brian Tracy. Now, we all, many of us have heard about Brian Tracy. Brian Tracy is a goal-setting guru. But I was listening to him in the car. That's why I was like, wait a minute, I don't have William Murphy in the car. But Brian Tracy said a lot of times, now this blew my mind. So, stick with it for a second. He said a lot of times people do not set goals around what they want because they're afraid that they won't get it. And I say, what? Like, here I am thinking people just don't want to set goals. But he said people will not set goals. People don't like to set goals around what they want because they have a fear of failure. And we do know a lot of people have a fear of failure. There's also a fear of success. Now, I knew that one because I have clients who are afraid. And I know mildly successful people who are afraid to be big. But he said people have a fear of failure. And that is what causes them to not set goals. So people will not write out, I want this, I want to do that, I want to accomplish this by this date because they're afraid that it won't happen. And so he said, but if you never set a goal, you can ensure that many of the things that you desire, you'll never have. So it goes both ways. And so I really wanted to dive into that because I am, in case you don't know, I am Dr. Sheika Square, and I am a goal setter. I love goals. Like they have changed my life. I have been able to accomplish many of them. Some of them I had to push back some deadlines, and I've learned so many things over the years. And I wrote a book that really dives very deeply into the power of goal setting and how to do it. 21 Day Word Revolution. It was actually my first book. If you're looking to learn how to set goals and why to set goals, that book dives in it on another level. Books after that, I mentioned goal setting and, what you should add, but that's your foundational piece, 21 Day Word Revolution. However, in setting goals, I have had some I've had to push back. I never cancel a goal. I never say, well, I'm just not going to strive for this. I'll push it back. Well, maybe I need to add some extra work. Maybe I need to do a little more to get to this goal. And so with goal setting, I will move the date back, but I never cancel a goal. And more recently, a goal I set a couple of years ago, which at the time when I said it was like, ooh, this seems like a lot. I wanted to have a podcast. I'm going to let that sink in. I wanted to have a podcast. And for everybody that listens to women that make money on Apple, Google, Spotify, all of that. Thank you. However, I wanted a podcast. I just got invited to be on iHeartRadio, which is a feat in itself. It was exciting. It was amazing. I was asked to be a regular on iHeart. I have my own little session, my own little segment on iHeartRadio. And I was talking to people on how to really grow my audience, and everybody kept saying, get a podcast. And I was like, well, I don't know how to get a podcast. So I wrote down a goal of wanting a podcast by a certain date. The date, I usually said 6-month goals, 1-year goals, and then 3 to 5 year goals. It was in my 1-year goal, I know, but I didn't know how to go about it. So I was very specific about what I wanted, and I left it. I released it. And we can move forward like maybe 2 years, because I was asked to be on iHeart, I think in 2018. So, yeah. And now I have a podcast, and I almost cried. Like, it took a little longer than I thought, but I still accomplished it. And I think I accomplished it when I was a much better speaker. Starting out on iHeart, I gave my full self. I gave all of me. However, I think I was still honing in on my craft, on how to be behind the mic instead of on a stage, because you can feed off more energy. So you have to really go within self. And so I set this goal, and I accomplished it. I set a goal to buy a house. I set a goal. I'm going to just go through the goals that I've written and I've accomplished. I set a goal to buy a house. I set a goal to be a better mother. I set a goal. The only goal that seems to fight me a little bit is when I be like, oh, I'm going to have me 6-pack abs by summer. Blah. You be like, damn, shouldn't have ate all that cheesecake in the winter. However, I set a goal to buy a new car. I set a goal to, have a podcast. I set a goal on how many books I want to write before I die. I mean, it's a little morbid, but I literally, listening to Brian Tracy, he had a goal to write 100 before he died. And so, that's amazing. So I do have a goal of how many books I want to write. So they work. I mean, that's just what it is. I set a goal on how much money I want to make per month, per day, how many books I want to sell, per week, how many people I want to help. I set goals for all of that. And so goals are going to be super important. If for nothing else, they allow you direction in life. They help with guiding you through life. And so people who don't write goals usually are a little aimless, meaning they don't have a target, meaning that they kind of just wander. They keep getting distracted. They're often moved off track because there is no track. People who set goals usually are laser focused and more diligent and more likely to be in the top 1% of successful, wealthy people, because they have a target and they constantly look at that target and they constantly stretch that target and that goal so that they are better people, that they are better leaders, that they're better money makers, that they're better speakers, whatever the better is. And you usually need to be better in all of those areas constantly. And so when you set these goals and you continue to stretch yourself, like I said, if it's approaching, like it's a 6-month goal and it's approaching, I don't say, if my goal is to make, well, one of my goals is to make $1 million a month. I don't say if I come across that timeline, I guess I'm just not gonna aim for that. That's stupid. Like, no, you say, okay, I need to go higher in some areas because clearly where I am now is not is stretching me enough to meet that goal. And that's it. So, if you are afraid to set a goal, one, because you don't know how to set a goal, then get busy about learning. If you are afraid to set a goal because you have a fear of failure, then shift your mindset about that. I'm all about mindset. Is the biggest thing that I did in my entire career to change my life. It wasn't work more. It wasn't, network more. It was shifting my mind about those things. But if you have a fear of failure and you won't set goals because you're scared that you won't do it, then you have some mind work to do so that you can start to have the life and the money that you desire. And I talk a lot about that in all of my resources because it is important. Money management and entrepreneurs, we dive into how to make the money once you are aware that you need to shift your mind. And it's all about the mind as it relates to money and money as it relates to mind. So it's a great mindset and money course to enroll in. And I would advocate for it. I would say it's one of my most proud pieces of work. I put a lot of time into money management and entrepreneurs and have gotten great feedback on money management and entrepreneurs. So bottom line is, if you have a fear of failure and you are not allowing yourself to achieve your goals because you are afraid that you are going to fail, what's going to happen anyway is that you're probably still not going to have the life and the money and the success that you desire because you have no target. You have no aim. And without an aim, life really is aimless. No pun intended. Or intended, the pun was. So, get busy really deciding what you want and how you want your life to look. And then once you do that, I'm pretty sure, like from my experience and my experience with my clients, life changes. Life is better. Life looks better. So that would end what I wanted to discuss today.